Good morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. The top headlines. Indian markets trade lower for the second straight day. Nifty trades near 10,700. The India VIX gains for the seventh straight day. An open interest surges in SRF after traders take fresh positions in its risk futures. And oil retailers are top losers on the Nifty after Trump pulls out of the US sanctions and the Iran nuclear deal, sending crude prices higher. And Hindalco is a top Nifty gainer after subsidiary Novelis posts strong numbers in the fourth quarter. And higher volumes are expected to aid Eicher Motor in fourth quarter. The numbers come out today.
All right, those are the top headlines at this hour. Let's also tell you the trends that we are spotting in the futures and options market today. Well, we definitely had a negative opening after US chose to walk out of the nuclear deal with Iran. But I guess there's been some bit of recovery right now that we are witnessing on the screen as Nifty is back in the green, holding above the mark of 10,700. That's a positive news. Premium has contracted just slightly. Yesterday's closing premium was somewhere about 17. So today it's about 15 rupees. Pull up Bank Nifty, I guess. Bank Nifty was outperforming. Remember, yesterday there was a huge outperformance. It's still holding above the mark of 26,000, but I just want to highlight Bank Nifty futures for the last 3 trading sessions now have been trading at a discount. So maybe that's telling you there could be some profit taking coming for Bank Nifty in today's session. India VIX, that's an important one. It surged for the 7th straight day today. And remember, till the Karnataka elections, the analysts are of the view that the India VIX will continue to inch higher, which may not be a very positive sign for the bulls in this market. In terms of sectoral indices, you've got the Nifty metals as well as you've got the ID index, which are doing well. So these are your top sectoral gainers. Metals up almost 1%, ID up nearly 0.6%. And as I mentioned, profit booking seen for the banking stocks. So something like Nifty PSU banking index, that's seen cuts of almost 0.7%. Private banking index is just about trading in the positive territory right now. Let's tell you what's happening with the options strikes then in the opening session. At least the 10,700 call so far has seen some bit of OI addition, and in fact we'll get that played out for you and tell you how much OI addition so far has been witnessed there. But if you look at the put strikes, the 600 and the 700 put strikes so far have been pretty active. Both the strikes last when I checked had added between 1 to 1.5 lakh shares. The range remains the same, 10,500 on the downside, 11,000 on the upside. But the near-term options band data is suggesting that you can expect a range of 10,550 and 10,750 on the upside. Remember, we've been facing some bit of resistance around the mark of 10,750. Well, nothing changes when it comes to the FIs. What they've been doing in the futures and options market, selling in the cash segment remains unabated. Yesterday also there was a selling figure that was witnessed, and protection buying continues as there was some bit of contracts which were added on the put long side, I guess, for the third or the fourth straight trading session, Agam.
Well, SRF is in my radar right now. We've seen some surge of as much as 12% in open interest, and the stock stumbling by as much as 1.4%. Do remember it was one of the key gainers yesterday. And it seems that some selling has started to come about. KPIT, of course, on the other hand, is looking at buying, even though the underlying is moving up by as much as less than 1%, about a 10.5% increase in open interest. Hindalco and PC Jewelers, of course, continuing to well, show volatile movements. At least for now, they're in the green. And PC Jewelers specifically has been extremely volatile. And Cholamandalam also seeing an up move around 8% in open interest. Not too much to speak for when it comes to stocks when in terms of unwinding, around 2.5% cuts in something like a Dalmia Bharat. But when it comes to Indian Bank, Maharaja Batteries, IGL or Diwan Housing, well, very little decline in open interest. So once again, we're watching out for SRF, KPIT, and of course PC Jeweler in today's day of trade.
Okay, so those are the active stock futures that we will be addressing with our derivatives experts on the show. But before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder for you all. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, pick up your phone now, call us on 022-4540-4141. In fact, you can also write to us on our social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, and for the ones watching the show on YouTube, you can write your queries there as well. But do not forget to put that all-important Ask BQ hashtag attack. And actually, we've started receiving a lot of queries from Sanket, Nikhil, James, Matthew, Amol, Wak. Please continue watching our show. We will be addressing all your queries during the course of the show. It's time to welcome our F&O experts for the day. Bhavin, Mehta of Dolat Capital and Thakkar of Anand, Rathi are here with us. Good morning to both of you gentlemen. Appreciate you joining us today on Bloomberg Quinn. Bhavin, if I could come to you, Bank Nifty is the one which is outperforming so far, at least in the last few trading sessions. Nifty has been facing some bit of resistance around the mark of 10,750. Is there any trade that you would look to take on these indices in today's trading session?
Okay, I'm looking at selling 10,800 call, which is currently quoting somewhere in the range of 105 to 107. Stop loss for the same should be placed around level of 120, target price close to about 85. We have failed to see any clear direction from the indices over last couple of trading sessions, especially given the fact that VIX has been consistently rising over last almost 8 trading sessions. So I would be concerned with respect to markets in very short period of time. And definitely unless Nifty does not break past level of 10,750, writing 10,800 calls seems like a safe bet.
Okay, that's the view coming in on the indices from Bhavin. But Jay, how are you approaching the trade today on Nifty and Bank Nifty?
Hi, good morning to you. Well, I think, see, Bank Nifty about 26,116, that is yesterday's high. It can zoom towards the levels of, say, 26,250, thereafter 26,400 on the lower side. 25,950 will be a good support. Bank Nifty has clearly broken out from a inverse head and shoulders pattern, and the target for the same comes to 26,400. Hence, we have been seeing that Bank Nifty is outperforming the Nifty. Now, Nifty about 9,750 is a buy. Above 750, it can climb towards the levels of 10,840. So that's a buy above 750, placing a stop loss at 690. So that's a conditional buy. Bank Nifty can be bought at these levels as well and can be further added about 26,116. These are the spot levels.
Okay, so let's quickly go across and start taking some, well, option strategies in our options corner, where we get you exclusive option strategies from our experts. And well, Bhavin, I'll come back to you. How are you playing the benchmark indices now?
So as I mentioned, I'm looking at Nifty facing good amount of resistance at higher level. And once again, recommending the selling of call. I believe that unless Nifty does not move past level of 10,750, there is high probability that we will see a range trade. A theta loss would be beneficial for call writers in this particular time frame. So recommending to sell 10,800 call, which is currently quoting somewhere in this particular range of 105 to 107. With stop loss of 120. Tight stop loss should be placed at 120 unless it does not move past that level. I believe there is high probability that it will move closer to level of 80 to 85 on the downside.
Okay. Sell the 10,800 call strike on Nifty. That's the view. That's the strategy, option strategy, in fact, coming in from Bhavin. Jay, any option strategy that you are advocating in today's session?
Well, for today's session for the Nifty, I think, see, as I said, it's a conditional buy about 10,750. Until those levels I'm taken off, the probability is that Nifty might continue trading within this range. So yes, it's like, as Bhavin said, 10,000 selling 10,800 calls and selling 10,650 on the lower side. I would say the put options, because that is where the Nifty had taken support. So till those levels are also not broken, we won't be able to say that the trend has shifted from up to down. It will continue to stay within this range of 150 points, 100 to 150. Hence, selling a call and a put both, well, I think, will also lead to hedging the position. Basically, it's just not selling the call. And in fact, I would say that a short strangle kind of thing, wherein, as rightly pointed out by Bhavin, that, a loss of theta is something beneficial in this kind of a sideways market. So I think a long short strangle should be the strategy for today.
Okay, so that's the view coming in. Well, largely consolidation expected, but both our experts are recommending certainly selling some of those call options. And of course, there has been a mention about selling a strangle as well. That said, moving across to take some trading calls for the day. Jay, coming back to you, what are you recommending? What are you picking up on your radar?
Well, see, I have I would say a few buy recommendations in the futures as well as the cash segments. The reason is that we have been seeing some good traction coming in the cash stocks as well. So I would say among the future segment, I have some buy recommendation like on Infratel. Infratel in today's trading session is seeing a good up move, and I think from here on we can see Infratel moving towards the levels of 336-37 on the upside on the immediate basis, and 321 will be a stop loss. So Infratel is a buy. Among the cash segment, metals have been seeing a good traction coming in today's trading session. They're back. Hindalco numbers are also quite good. Based on that, we have been seeing that most of the metals are trading well on the higher side. Tata Sponge, I think 1175 seems to be a good short-term target. On the lower side, 111,000. No, sorry, 1175 should be the target, and 1115 should be the stop loss for Tata Sponge. Remaining two cash segment calls which I have would be on first would be on FCL. Now I see Phenotech's Chemicals has been trading well in an uptrend. The stock has been forming higher tops, higher bottom again on the daily charts, hourly charts. The momentum indicators are absolutely in the buy mode both on the daily as well as the weekly charts, and hence Phenotech Chemical is expected to inch towards the levels of 95. One can buy this with a stop loss of 75. And one more stock recommendation among the cash segment. This is a very high risk trade, I would say. It's on Ruchi Soya because this stock has been forming a good base pattern like that of SpiceJet, which we had seen when it was trading at around 12-13 rupees. And the volume concentration that was coming at the lower end, the good reversal pattern on the candlestick, the kind of a hammer candlestick pattern which we have seen in SpiceJet, similar kind of pattern has been formed in Ruchi Soya as well. Last couple of trading sessions we have seen a good up move, and since past 2 days we have been seeing some profit booking coming, but that till those swing lows of 11 are not broken, I think 18 can be the target. So FCL and Ruchi Soya are the positional calls. Tata Sponge and Infratel are the short-term calls.
Jay, you're recommending all cash segment stock, nothing in the stock futures that interest you this morning?
Actually, Infratel, he did speak
futures,
about
Infratel, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else besides that among the stock futures?
Absolutely. See, I'll recommend one more one call option, and that's on Axis Bank. See, Axis Bank post results we have seen a good move coming there, and then thereafter a consolidation. In yesterday's trading session, we saw that Axis Bank surpassed the levels of 540 on the upside, zoom towards 548, and thereafter again retesting the consolidation. But I think that Axis Bank's as a bank which is also performing well, this stock is again likely to inch higher. 550 call can be bought. The target for 550 call would come at around 18 rupees to 19 rupees. The stop loss can be placed at 9.75. So if you see the risk reward is well above 1:2, 1:3 in fact. So one can buy Axis Bank 550 call option.
Okay, buy Axis Bank 550 call. That's the advice coming in from Jay. Let's quickly address some buzzing stock futures in today's session. Then we can move on to the viewer queries. Manappuram Finance has surged almost closer to 3.5% in today's trade. It's your top F&O gainer. It's touched fresh 52-week high, and the earnings of this one, they come out next Friday. So that is in focus. The open interest is up 6.5%. Bhavin, if I could come to you on this one at current levels, do you see any trade on the charts for Manappuram Finance, considering the run-up that we've seen in the first hour of trade?
Okay, Manappuram has been a very quiet mover, though it is one of the top gainer in the F&O space for this particular year. The move has been very quiet, and it has been very steady over a period of time. At current level of 130, I believe that stock is moving similar to what actually Ashok Leyland has seen the kind of momentum. From close to about level of 110 to current level of about 170, it has been a similar kind of pattern that we are looking at in Manappuram. So my view is to remain long. Now one should keep a trailing stop loss in such cases currently, which is placed around level of 121. Continue to ride the momentum. Any decline in short period of time should be used as a buying opportunity. On upside, targets can be probably 140, 145 immediately, and probably move above that will be very positive for the stock. So overall view will be to remain long. Any decline in short period, because today's stock is up 3%. Since markets are range, no need to chase the price. The moment you see a decline in the stock price, one can enter in this particular count.
Okay, before we move on and take more queries, I actually do want to take up Bhavin on the calls that he is looking at in trade today. Bhavin, you are long on IOC and Jindal Steel. That's what you're recommending today. Can you take us through the reasons why?
Okay, we had seen good amount of base formation for most of the oil marketing companies over last couple of trading session. If you look at overall built up, most of the counters had very good amount of short position in them. And after the news flow that has been done with in yesterday's, yesterday night with respect to US pulling out of the Iran section, IOC, which is currently placed at 162, can be a contra bet till the time it holds above level of 159. There is high probability that stock over a period of time can see a short covering and move closer to level of 180 in short period of time. Another stock, Jindal Steel and Power. Now we have been consistently recommending this stock on the long side. Today, the stock company is going to declare its number. And over last couple of days, the stock has failed to move above level of 265. So any move above 265 will be major positive. However, given the fact that stock has also not broken on the lower side below 235 in recent correction, view is positive. I believe that short period the stock can move closer to level of 290. However, for someone with very short time frame or an intraday trade can probably go long on this particular counter with target price of 270. Stop loss for long position should be kept around level of 258.
Okay, those are the trading strategies coming in from Bhavin. Also remember, JSPL comes out with its earnings today, and watch out for the steel business, which is expected to do good for the fourth quarter, but the power business could just be a drag on the earnings. I'm going to move on to the viewer query segment since we are getting a lot of queries right now. James Matthew writes to us. He's saying he's got Nifty made 10,700 call strike, for which he's paid a premium of 143. He's also stated this is a positional trade that he's taken, and I guess the current premium is above 143, which James has paid, and he wants to know if he should hold on to this call or not. If yes, what should be the stop loss is something he wants to know, and the current premium is 158. Jay, take that one and tell James what to do with his position.
I'm sorry, Navneet, the question is on which stock?
10,700 call strike of Nifty, for which he's paid a premium of 143. He's making money as the current premium is around 158. Right. He wants to know if he should hold on, what should be the stop loss, or he should just book profits.
I think you should book out the profits. As we have already shared our view on the index that only if 10,750 on a closing basis gets surpassed, then we will see further rally towards the levels of 10,840. As a new position can be created about 10,750 on the spot, which could that help to gain some momentum, and again one can buy the call option of 10,750 to $800. We have just initiated a short triangle which we have recommended, assuming or basically anticipating a range bound trade. So in that there will be a theta loss in the already long position on the call option. So I would say that booking at these levels would be a right strategy if someone is getting the profits, and then buy again about 10,750.
Well, I hope that helps you, James, with your query on that particular call. But we'll move on and address Amol Vag on YouTube. And he's bought the NCC 140 call and he's paid a premium of 3.75. And the question is, should he continue to hold? Let's take a look at this particular call and see where it's trading at. Well, 2.5. So he's clearly looking at a potential loss. Can you also take a look at the futures of NCC, where its underlying is and what its futures are doing, at least as far as the May series is concerned? And okay, there you have it. That's your open interest increase of around 2.3%, but the underlying has declined by around 1%. And well, it's a good 9 to 10 points away from Amol Vag's strike price. Bhavin, what are the chances NCC can move to the levels of 140, and what would you recommend Amol should do with his position on the 140 call, for which he's paid a premium of 3.75?
We have seen good amount of long built up in the counter of NCC. Now this series particularly is a long one. We are going to see expiry closer to month end. So my view will be to hold on to this particular strike call. There is high probability that we will see a momentum on a positive side for this particular stock, provided it does not break level of 128. The stock already moved closer to 135 but failed to move above the same level. So, the momentum remains positive. However, it needs that extra push and at the same time need to sustain above level of 128. So his stop loss should be 128 on the cash side. At the same time, he can hold on to this position.
Hold on to NCC is what Bhavin is suggesting. I'm going to move on and take Nikhil Raja's query. He writes to us on YouTube. He's got PTC futures at a price of 98.7 and I think he's bought at a higher price. Remember, PTC India has been doing pretty well in the last two sessions. I think it's gained somewhere between 8 to 9%. This morning, some bit of profit taking has been seen, down almost 1% for this one. Remember, it also touched its 52-week low sometime towards the end of March, and the results also come out on 16th May. Bhavin, I'll come back to you. What's the advice? He's bought at 98.7. Can he hold or he should exit?
Okay, as far as PTC is concerned, I think he can continue to hold the position. Currently, it's at 96-97 range. However, the stock needs to move past level of 100 for positivity. Till the time it does not happen, stock will be more or less range trade between level of 92 to 100. So that is the view on PTC India.
All right, so well, that's what you have with respect to PTC India. We move across to the next one. It's from one of our regular viewers, Chetan, and well, he has the Siemens 10,080 call, and he's paid a premium of 25. His question is, should he hold on to this one? Jay, what's your view on Siemens? Can we take a look at the Siemens futures before we go across to Jay and see where it's trading at, where the futures are, where this particular option is? Okay, so the futures are currently trading at about 10,042, 43. Very little change in the underlying. Open interest is also seeing no change at all. Of course, in this case, Chetan is talking about the 10,080 call, which he's purchased for 25, and clearly he's losing out on some amount of money because the premium is currently at 16.17. Jay, what would you recommend Chetan should do with his position? Book losses or continue to hold on?
I think you should book losses. The reason for the same is, Siemens have in fact fallen quite a lot, and we have seen some short build-up happening there. And with the rise in price, as you rightly said, that there is no change in OI, or there is hardly some change in OI. So we are not seeing any, short cover. We are not seeing any unwinding happening there, as well as long build-up. This is just because the bounce, any if at all, is just because of the short covering. And further, we'll see Siemens falling because we've seen good short build-up happening there in 2 days of fall. Exit from Siemens call, I can go to 0 as well.
Exit from Siemens is the call coming in right now, and I'm going to go across to Sanish Sharma's query. He writes to us on YouTube. He's shorted Bank Nifty futures at 25,855, and clearly he's making losses as the index is trading above the mark of 26,000. He's gone against the trend for Bank Nifty that we've seen in the last few sessions, and he's also asking whether he should wait for the Karnataka election result, which comes out on May 15. The polling starts on May 12th. I don't know about that, Sanish, but definitely this series ends on May 31st. So I'm going to take this question to Bhavin and ask him whether you should hold on your position till the end of the series. Bhavin, what would you advise? He shorted Bank Nifty and he's making losses.
Okay, Bank Nifty has seen good amount of momentum thanks to a sharp move coming in from ICICI Bank as well as Axis Bank over last couple of trading sessions. However, my view will be if he is a positional trader, he can probably hedge his short position by buying 26,000 call because for next weekly expiry of Bank Nifty. The reason being that Karnataka election outcome will be there and we may see good amount of momentum either ways, and it can be very much possible that he may end up making money in this particular position if it does not go in favor of market's anticipation. So he can hedge it and continue to hold his position, but holding it naked would be definitely a huge risk for current situation.
Okay, and we're going to take a final query because I think we have time for just one more. This one again comes on YouTube from Tushar Tiwari. He says, is shorting United Spirits a good idea? Jay, do you think it's a good idea right now to short United Spirits?
Well, see, I would say that shorting this stock at the current levels is not a good idea. The reason for the same is that we have been seeing a good movement coming in this stock in the last series, and this is just a profit booking which we have seen, and this stock has been falling since almost a week or so, approximately, I would say, and there can be some bounce back coming from these levels. So at these levels, it's not a shorting opportunity. There can be some bounce. If you sell on bounce, say somewhere near the levels of say 3,500 again, it's a good strategy. About 35, you can place a stop loss at 35, 60, 70, or maybe 3,600 max. So there will be a risk of only 2-3%, and thereafter you can look out for booking at lower levels. In these levels, the risk reward is not matching.
Okay, in fact, there was some selling pressure seen for United Spirits towards the end of the session. Yesterday, it closed at day's low with cuts of 3 to 3.5%. I'm just going to quickly go across to our guest and ask them if there is any sort of trend that they're right now spotting on the charts. Bhavin, coming to you, anything interesting on the charts that you want to share with us?
Okay, most of the IT, mid-cap IT has been buzzing over last two trading session. Hexaware is one interesting idea, especially if it moves above level of 408, one can create a long position. Currently, stock is trading somewhere around 403 to 404. Also note that in future segment, the stock trades at significant amount of discount. So one should be careful. It's trading with discount of close to about 2.5%. Tight stop loss at 397 once it moves past level of 408. Target on upside can be around level of 425 to 430.
Okay, and Jay, what about you? What are you spotting?
One more stock which I will like to recommend is a buy on Godfrey Phillips. This stock has clearly formed a falling wedge pattern on a daily chart. In last trading session, we saw some bounce coming in this stock, a breakout as well from a trend line. Godfrey Phillips can be bought placing a stop loss at 840, 845. This stock can zoom towards the levels of 912 to 920.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Godfrey Philip. For our viewers who have written their queries and we've not addressed them, sorry for that, we're running out of time. And Chetan, I addressed your Aurobindo query. I remember addressing that in the Countdown show, but I'll just take one more query of yours since you've mentioned you've bought the L&T 1420 call strike at a premium of 30. He wants to know if you should hold. Quickly, Bhavin, if you could advise Chetan what to do. 1420 call strike bought at 30. What should he be doing? Should he hold on to his position?
Definitely L&T is very range trade. I would recommend rather to buy call option or put option. One can opt for selling call or put option. So my view will be definitely not to hold on to long position. Any short term bounce rate, please exit. Even last time I had addressed this particular query. So 1420 is major resistance for the stock. Unless it does not witness momentum over that, probably by end of the series, traders will lose out on that.
Well, we are inundated with queries right now, but be sure that if they're fundamentally related or for that matter technically related, we will certainly take them up on the Ask PQ show, which comes up at 12:30 today, but we've run out of time. So we're going to have to thank our experts, Bhavin and Jay, for joining us and taking us through their views. And with that, it's also a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show with lots more lined up, so stay tuned and a Bloomberg Quint.